defend it.
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another week of Theorycrafting Thursday. I, of course, am your host, Ursinity, happy to be back from my trip, and happy to reprise my role as host of a podcast. I was lost in the dreaded mountains in Pennsylvania, and without internet, so I could not record.
Are you just like assuming that you get to be host again, or is that like...
Well, you know, I may have killed Growdy and taken his place. They tried to replace me, but then I was like, Growdy, sorry, friend. I drove to Michigan, and I was like, dude, you're out.
The fifth person you've killed.
Yeah, well, you know, 5, maybe 6, who knows.
From New York, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a New Yorker thing. When you like turn 18, they're like, all right, you gotta have 5 kills. I was like,
you need 5 kills to reach this level.
yeah. Now I'm 21, so it's like you gotta add a few. Anyway,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hashtag New York things. Anyway, I'm happy to be back and happy to be playing Dota again because I went a full week without being able to play Dota, and that was a traumatic experience. And I've not been playing well after I got back, and my party MMRs reflected it. But that's just how it is. So I suppose that's a natural way to lead into my state of affairs. I lost a few party games. I won all my Kunkka games though, and that's what's important.
Right. That's where it's important.
And I mean, I've been having fun. Dota's a fun game. I may or may not have gone on a lot of yelling sprees on Twitter because Pudge is a dumb hero, and I run into a lot of dumb people. But
would you call them obscenely dumb?
Obscenely dumb, yes. OD, hint. But yeah. So that's been my more or less week in Dota. I mean,
I've played Chaos Knight. How'd that go?
Oh god, that was.
Sorry, no. Okay, we'll talk about something else.
Were you in that game? Was that with you?
No, I'm just looking at your recent games, and I'm like,
God.
oh, these are normal heroes. Chaos Knight? What the fuck?
Yeah. So everybody knows I'm an opinionated Dota player. You know, you and I, between the two of us, we are this is a very opinionated podcast.
Fuck every hero I don't like.
Exactly. Whatever hero I lost to most recently, that's the hero I hate the most.
They're probably broken, let's be real.
Exactly. Yes, that's the only reason I lost. Chaos Knight, though. I hate Chaos Knight. My
heart.
Yeah, that hero sucks. He's really good, though, but I hate him.
Okay.
And he's one of these heroes where wherever he's on my team, I feel like he's just the worst piece of garbage hero that we invested all this farm in, and he can't flash farm, and he just does nothing. And then I see on the other team, he has like 5,000 health, and he has a heart and a manta and like 3 armlets running all at once, and just everything is broken, and it's horrific. But I hate the hero so much. He's all random. He's garbage. So I played him, though, because we were playing party ranked, and it was random draft. And there were no Chaos Knight counters in the pool, and he was one of the only carries. And at this point, I was playing one position for the 5-stack I was in. And I was like, all right, I'll play Chaos Knight. He's not rocket science. He's like, you know, I know some people that play Chaos Knight. I'm pretty confident I can play him. I did okay. I did mediocre. We got stomped for a variety of reasons that were not entirely my fault, but I was just so miserable that whole game. I was like tilted by my own like suffering playing that awful hero.
Yeah. And
so I learned that I should not play heroes that I don't like. And that's the gist
Here's
of it.
The trick on Chaos Knight, though. Little known fact. His they changed his crit, so like it has whenever his crit procs, like applies the Deso debuff basically, and that applies at the begin, like when your attack starts. Not when it finishes.
Oh.
So what I have, which I've never actually used, but I think would be super cool, is I have a macro on my mouse to right-click and then hit my stop command like 100 times real quick. So I just want to like walk up to someone and then like hit that mouse button, and then I'll just go like, blah, and then like they'll be desoed, and then I'll actually attack them. So do that. That might work.
That's like that PA hack. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I know
like
what you're talking about. Only it's not a hack. It's just right-clicking and pressing spacebar super fast.
No, I mean, but there's like an automated version of it.
Yeah,
it detects the sound and then it just does
boring.
it.
This is creative and cool.
There's a Reddit thread about it.
Great.
But yeah, so I did unfortunately play a Chaos Knight, but that never
glad
again.
We addressed that.
Yeah, me too. Boy, I lost a lot of party MMR. And,
I see it.
It was rough. It was like we were playing with a wide range, and anybody who plays like party MMR knows this. Like sometimes if you're playing with the old people around you, you know, like we're basically the same. So whenever we play, it's generally like 24 to 26. But when you play with the differential between like the highest and lowest. I have a bunch of games where it's like I have like plus 29, minus 28, plus 30 or minus 33, minus 23, stuff like that, minus 21. And I really don't like that because like I don't know. Like last night I played solo and it was like right, I lost the first one, I won the second one. It was minus 25 plus 25 easy. But anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. But yeah, so I kind of expected though when you come back from a break, I just expect to lose like 100 points,
Yeah,
and then
Dota's
I'll
not
get it
like
back.
you'll drop and then you'll get back after you remember how to play the fucking game.
The classic. People have attributed this quote to me, but I stole it from Scrunk because it was very motivating. He said, "After every losing streak comes a winning streak," but using that logic, the reverse is also true, and I've been on quite the winning streak for a while. So
Yeah,
I had a
well,
losing streak coming.
I dropped 700 and I'm back up. I'm back up plus 500 from that 700 drop, so I'm back to 4,500. Very slowly recuperating, but it's good. I had a brief stint where I dropped MMR again when I was like, "Hey, let's try Radiance again," because maybe I was wrong. Turns out I wasn't, and it sucks. And it's bad on Lone Druid. It's actually not that bad, depending on like the game you're against. But my way of playing Lone Druid works really well for pubs. And I think against certain teams, like against like TA, of course, I think Radiance is still good. But
Yeah. Or just build an urn.
Yeah, just build an urn, one of the two on Lone Druid. But experimented with Radiance and playing them off lane. It's not very good to do that in most pubs because, for the most part, your off lane is supposed to make space for you. You're not supposed to make space for your Lone Druid going fucking Midas Radiance, like every pub still seems to think you are. So, going back to playing Lone Druid safe lane, it's going pretty good. I've decided to just kind of spam Lone Druid at this point because I just want to like master him in every regard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty fun. I like this hero. I'm not sure if you knew that, but he's fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we've played a game other than the game that we played tonight for the podcast. Which, full disclosure, we already recorded this, but it got messed up, so we're just gonna run through the straight hour with no break, and we will discuss the game as per usual. But yeah, so slight difference. Maybe there'll be a little spoilery talk beforehand. I suppose it'll influence us anyway. But yeah, so I don't think I played with your Lone Druid much at all since the change. But I'm excited that you're spamming him because that means our future party games in which you play Lone Druid and I play something else will be that much better.
Dude, it's so good. I feel invincible, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Lone Druid. I don't know. I feel like he's a really interesting hero in that like you can do so many different things with it, and like something may mathematically be more efficient. Than like one build, maybe this like X amount better than the second build. But if you're really comfortable and you've played, like Bulldog does that Midas Radiance thing. If he's done that Midas Radiance thing like 100 more times than he's done an alternative build, he's just naturally going to play that build better. So like the empirical efficiency difference, like that like one is better than the other is kind of negated because it's just like he's just super comfortable.
Outweigh it. Similar to how like if you've played 1,000 games of Lone Druid, you're gonna be better on Lone Druid than like Meepo, even if Meepo is like objectively better in some way or something like that.
Yeah.
But
it's like a microcosm of that.
Yeah, so the build you're most comfortable with is the one you're gonna play most efficiently, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think both of us like a lot of heroes that have that in them too. Like Invoker is one that comes to mind, or Tinker, where it's just like if you're so like for example, Invoker, I used to play a lot of Quas Exort, and then Quas Exort was like significantly worse than Quas Wex for a really long time. It's still worse in most situations. And so then I just played Quas Wex for a really long time, and I got good at that because Quas Wex is stupid easy. And then like now going back and being like, oh, let's have some fun, let's play some Quas Exort or some Wexort. And it's just like awkward because just like I'm so used to playing one way, even though it's the same hero. It's like different builds and different heroes. Invoker obviously is a very extreme case of that, but like or like going from a Yule's Invoker build into like a Blink or like a Blink build. Like somebody will rush Blink instead of rushing Yule's. Somebody will skip Yule's entirely. Like myself now, I generally skip Yule's because Yule's Strike Invoker is a really bad build that you should not do because it does not scale at all. Pro tip. Yeah, so I've just been having fun with Dota. That's the gist of it. I know you're in the same boat in general. We all have our frustrating games. We all, Some of
We
us
don't
may.
like Pudge. That's the short version. We don't
Oh
like
my
Pudge.
god! All right, so we're gonna go off on our Pudge tangent.
Oh my god, are we? I think we could just end it at Pudge sucks and Aetherlens is OP and it's
Well,
dumb to get hooked from like 3 screens away.
we had a Pudge in our game that we just played, so I feel like it's even more
Yeah.
applicable. I thought it was very fortuitous. In the rest in peace first recording, we talked about Pudge, and then of course in the game there was a Pudge because Pudge is in every game nowadays.
Not just any Pudge though. A Pudge who hasn't played the game in a year
Yeah,
didn't know what that Aetherlens was an item and you still killed everyone.
yeah. He didn't know Aetherlens was an item until I told him to build it, and then he didn't know what Octarine Core was. He was just like, "Yo, you got no farm." And I was like, "Yo, I have an item that's worth like 6,000 gold."
He was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so Pudge, I'm sure every person listening to this, except for you Pudge pickers that are listening to this, everybody noticed that Pudge is a crazy good hero right now. It is reprehensible how good this hero is. Like he used to be just like a specialist hero. That's how I think of it. Like there are certain heroes
Yeah.
that are specialist heroes, kind of like
Or
Lone
like you see
Druid.
him picked and it's like, oh cool, Jenkins is playing Pudge or sweet, a fucking Dendy Pudge, crazy.
Yeah,
This is unique shit happening. But now it's just like everybody picks a Pudge.
yeah. Now it's
Then
just
it
like,
wins.
oh, cool. I mean, I've always kind of thought he was a good hero in that just through the nature of like he has a like whatever it is, like 3.5 to 4 second BKB piercing channeled, like basically Bane ult. Um, so I've always thought that was like good, but nowadays he's just like a force to be reckoned with. You can play him as a support, you can play him anywhere, as long as you get an Aether Lens at some point. You're just like you've just won the game. Like the hero is so ridiculous. I feel like a hero like that. I'm glad that it's in Dota, and in that like it's interesting that he's like one of these classic Dota heroes. You know, when you ask somebody like name your top 10 hero or like just name 10 random heroes from Dota, Pudge is probably gonna be one of them because he's just like a classic Dota hero that like
Iconic even, one might say.
iconic. That would be the word to use. But and that's nice, you know. And he's fun, and people are like, "Oh, I'm a Pudge player," you know, whatever. And then, but now like he's like not only is he like Pudge pickers are good with him, that's fine. But now like even non-Pudge pickers are like, "Hey, this here's really good. I should play him." And it's just, I don't know. I really don't like the hero. I don't
It's
like
like a
anything
it's a
about it.
less bad version of when Techies was like actually international worthy. Like that's
Exactly.
like he's a cute fun thing, but like you shouldn't deal with that kind of shit every game. And it's the
Yeah.
same kind of deal with Techies and a lot more muted. I mean, Techies is like an abomination of fucking
Yeah.
just
Oh.
sin. But Pudge is also like he's cool, but just not every game, please.
Yeah, yeah. Like situationally, I'm like, oh, that's nice. You know, we had a really good Pudge on our team. Whatever. Oh, that's fun. But I don't want to see it every game like I have been. I think every game today I've played, I've had a Pudge in it, and most games in all the other days. And it's just so like it's such a like and like amorphous factor in a game where it's just like if all right, so like I was playing Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker, you can expect things. Like you're like, right, he's gonna charge me, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do that. Pudge, it's like, I don't know. Is he gonna make the hook? Is he not gonna make the hook? Is he gonna
Yeah.
rot me to death? Is he gonna suicide? Is he not gonna suicide? Like
Before they buffed him, my view was like I hated having a Pudge in my game because I feel like the game was out of my control. It was like if the Pudge hit the hooks, I win. If he doesn't hit the hooks, I lose. And I have very little control over it. Like if he hooks their carry and we kill their carry 3 times, like we win. That's the game.
yeah. Or he hooks their
It's
Tide
just
Hunter and you freaking lose.
yeah, it's like one or the other. But yeah, it just feels like you have no control over the game. Only now it's like if he doesn't hit his hooks, you're probably gonna win. But if he does, you definitely win.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it feels like. Yeah, I mean that's I don't want to harp on it too much because I'm sure we've complained about it on other episodes and everything, but like,
Yeah, we'll do it again next week.
yeah, I'm sure next week.
Pudge strong, Aether Lens strong. Please nerf.
Aether Lens
Thumbs
is
up.
too good. Everybody knows it. If you don't think Aether Lens is broken, find me on
Don't
Twitter.
Shit about Dota.
Yeah, find me on Twitter and tell me why. I'm at Ursinity, and I will tell you why you're wrong. And it'll be a very short tweet because I'm just gonna say you are wrong because Aether Lens is way too good. That item, like, all right.
I
So
think you take out. We were saying this before. Take out the spell resistance from it. Give it like a 500 recipe cost, and that's like a way more balanced item.
yes, it just does everything, right? It's like I'm trying to think of another item. Like, I mean, Sage and Yasha kind of has this for a lot of cores, where it's just like it gives you everything you
Yeah, but
want.
it's like 4,000 gold.
Exactly, and that's the difference. But there are just certain items that just give you a lot of things. And things are nice. I like to have things. But
Yeah.
Aether Lens, it's like not only does it give you mana for your mana pool, it gives you HP regen so that like you don't need to go Tranquil Soul Ring. You can go Mana Boots and then disassemble into Aether Lens and still have HP regen and the mana pool. And it gives you spell resistance. And then of course, the class thing, it gives you 200 range on a number of abilities that have endless potential on various heroes. It's just like,
and then also increases your spell damage. I don't know if you said that already.
Does it do that? Oh yeah, it's 8%.
Yeah, 8% spell damage. It's like I always forget that too. I'm like, oh yeah, all these stats look really good. Oh yeah, fucking just like 8% damage on top. Like, okay,
they just
fine.
throw everything on it. They're like, hey, this item isn't good enough. Let's give it just something random.
Yeah, I feel like you just take the spell resistance off, then it becomes less absurdly synergistic with Pudge and his ability to rot himself, and it's just like then it's an okay item.
I feel like also the build up. I mean, we kind of touched on it in Johnson's, but the build up is so good. Like I was playing. I mean, I play obviously a lot of Kunkka games, and Aether Lens is crazy good on Kunkka. So what I've been doing is I just go Mana Boots, and then you disassemble them, build Aether Lens, and then you get like Treads or Travels or whatever. And you can do that on a ton of heroes, where you get Mana Boots, disassemble Aether Lens, and it makes the build up so convenient that like it's just hard not to buy it on a lot of heroes nowadays because just like it's so cheap relative to like you get so much out of it.
Is that it doesn't actually give you mana regen though, so like when you drop your arcane boots, you need pick up a Sage's Mask or something. I don't know.
There are times I double buy arcane boots. Like I was playing a hero game. Cool. Yeah. But either way, it's really strong. And yeah, I mean that's about it. It's kind of seen like the downfall of Glimmer Cape. I was listening to Purge and Winter, I believe, cast, or it might have been Gods and somebody. Anyway, I think it was Gods and Scant. They were talking about how like it used to be that supports would go like Mana Boots and then Glimmer Cape, but now it's like most supports benefit a ton from Aether Lens. So what they do is they just build Mana Boots, disassemble, and then they have an Aether Lens, and so you don't see as many Glimmer Capes because that's like their first big item.
Yeah, it's the same kind of price bracket.
Exactly, and it's just so good. Like I can't stress enough. I can't wait for it to be nerfed.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. I don't know if anything's going to happen. Like, they might do a small balance patch before the major. That wouldn't surprise me.
I think that's like, LD was saying that he's just like almost 100% sure, and I feel like that is likely going to be the play.
I hope my little bear doesn't get touched.
I hope not.
Okay. I think we'll be okay. I think everything's fine.
I don't think he's at the point where he's like being picked up like enough to warrant being nerfed. I think it's just like certain teams really like him.
Yeah. All right. I just quell my nerves. He's good for the first time in forever, and I'm scared. It's like I see on forums and shit, people are like, how the fuck do you beat this hero? He's so good now. I can't beat him every time I go against him.
Yeah.
What carry is good against him? Like half the pool. Please calm down.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, you can do a lot of things to him.
I shit my pants at a witch doctor. Please stop.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get to like top 5 of Reddit, you're fine.
Yeah,
everybody knows Ice Frog, the true Redditor. So the last bit on Aether Lens I was going to talk about is something, but now I just lost my train of thought entirely.
And maybe for the better.
Probably for the better. But anyway, so in Dota 1, like there are also Dota 2 for a time, not anymore. There's item exclusivity where like certain heroes could not buy certain items. So for a very long time, Vengeful Spirit and Pudge could not buy Blink Daggers because it was just like people were just worried like, oh, they'll just cliff people, yada yada, which is a fair worry. And then eventually they found a workaround where they're like, all right, we're gonna let you buy Blink Dagger on these 2 heroes, but if you do, there's some like weird pathing that doesn't actually work most of the time. If you try to cliff people, whatever. I feel like Pudge should not be able to buy Aether Lens because it's just so like game-breakingly good and it's so cheap. And that's like partially because I think Aether Lens is really strong, but also largely because of the interaction between Hook and Aether Lens is just obscene.
Yeah, longer hooks that long are just they hurt. It hurts so much, and then it also gives passive spell resist, and he rots himself. And it's pretty good synergy. It turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck that.
Yeah, it's like certain heroes are made by certain items, right? Like AM, like you always build. Oh, that's a bad example because I play AM without Battle Fury sometimes.
Manta.
Like
AM Manta, you don't play that.
AM Manta. Yeah, Or
Spectre
like
Radiance. I mean, you can play Spectre without Radiance, but
I
whatever.
said Sniper Radiance. I was like, oh, that's a funny joke.
Not quite.
Or like a Batrider Blink Dagger. Like there are certain items that are just integral to a hero. I feel like
Yeah,
Pudge
sure.
Aether Lens is now like that level, except even better. Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Anyway, that's our Pudge slash Aether Lens talk. We don't like either of those things. Actually, I like Aether Lens, but I think I despite my like of the item, it's definitely way too good. Anyway, should we get to talking about our combo? Do we have any other talking about our last week in Dota? I know.
Um, I
Yeah.
think I already mentioned that I like Lone Druid, so I think that's really all I have to say about anything.
Yeah. I imagine like we should end up having a compilation of all our state of affairs because it's generally just me saying like I played a bunch of Kunkka games and they were fun, and you saying I played a bunch of Lone Druid games, they were fun.
I
Radiant
had
sucked.
variation before they buffed this hero, but now
Oh, that's
my
true.
fucking versatility .03.
Yeah,
I'm legit just like hero spamming right now though. Like I'm trying to like literally 100% of my ranked games Lone Druid.
that's fair.
It's the
That's
grind. We got to make it.
yeah. I mean, everybody has their opinions on spamming, to varying degrees of acceptance or
Eternal Envy's PA spamming
abuse.
inspired me.
Except Eternal Envy is like losing with PA.
Yeah, but he's getting better.
Is he though? I feel like he's just losing his mind.
No, he's gonna kill himself probably.
Probably. Someday he will win a game as PA. Anyway, so our combo this week. I mean, we already talked about OD a little. We touched on him. We touched him effectively. Oh well, I don't.
I wouldn't want to touch that guy.
I was gonna say I feel like if I touched him, I would get like sucked into like an abyss or
Astral
something.
imprisonment or something.
Yeah,
like that?
I would be imprisoned in astral.
Probably
In the
in an astral
asters.
sense. Yep.
Yes. In an astral. What? Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
That was like a joke that just generally spiraled out of control. Anyway, more importantly, we picked OD and we picked Spirit Breaker, and that was our combination.
Which is, I mean, when you think about OD combinations, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind is OD Spirit Breaker. Is what my thought process.
That he's being facetious for anybody that's not familiar with OD combos. OD Spirit Breaker did work out really well. We did win this game. It was a solid 24 points, but OD Spirit Breaker is a combo that I really like because it's not like a. There are OD combos that are really obvious and like common, namely OD Mirana, which has been a rising combination ever since the change to Astral Imprisonment, and the fact that OD is a really good hero now, and the fact that Mirana is also. God, it's disgusting for me to say this, but Mirana is also a really good hero now, and so that's a really common combination apparently in like the really high MMR games and in some pro games. Of course, now just because you astral and then you just land arrows because they're astral and you just calculate. But Spirit Breaker OD is fun and interesting because of a variety of things. I know you have one thing that you're going to explain way better than I am.
Here's the real synergy here. So let's say, paint a picture. You, OD, in a team fight, obscenely dumb, the hero. You cast your arcane orb. It does damage to the person, but they BKB. Your OD orb does no damage because they BKB'd. What do? Do you imprison yourself? No, you have Spirit Breaker. He fucking charges in. He pierces the BKB. He stuns the fuck out of that guy. You don't give a shit about anything because they're stunned. And you're not dead because you're OD and they're stunned. And you just kind of wait. You just wait it out. Then their BKB is off. And then you cast your orbs and then they die. And then you look at Spirit Breaker and you lock with his cow eyes, his mad cow disease eyes, and you high five him straight on the chest.
I don't think OD can high five.
He can with his little stubby fetus legs.
Yeah, he'll like.
But it's not so much on the chest. You kind of like fly over Spirit Breaker and like tickle his little
you bless
foaming
him.
hair. Yeah, he just gets blessed.
Yes,
Go bless up Spirit Breaker, and then he just goes, and it's a great combination.
Yeah. So, admittedly, neither of us actually played the heroes we played this fine evening.
I've played OD once.
Yeah, and I've played Spirit Breaker maybe twice. I had a lot of fun this game. I will say that. So in our patch notes reviews, or in our patch notes review and my patch notes reviews, I have noted that Spirit Breaker I feel is a ridiculously strong hero that should have been nerfed at least like a little bit, but was not touched at all, except for the super minor nerf in that they changed how towers do damage to heroes. but that was mostly compensated for the increase at base health anyway. Him and like Night Stalker and some of the other divey heroes that ruin the mid lane are way too good. And Spearbreaker this game was a perfect exhibit of why this hero is crazy good in the early to mid game. And I just dominated. I think I was like 7-0 and something at a certain point. And then eventually I like died a bunch. But it was pretty gross.
Like after, shit hit the fan for obscenely dumb.
Yes. Well, all right. So like the really nice synergy that we did not expect, or at least I did not expect. I don't know how much foresight you have.
Perfect 2020.
Was the two of us hit our power peaks at opposite times, and it like synergized really well in that we were dominant in every stage of the game. And I suppose to talk about this, we should go over the team comps first. So of course it was Spearbreaker OD. You were in the safe lane. I was roaming. Although I was roaming. Then we had
we were gonna be safe lane, but then it was like, fucking, what do I need you for?
Yeah, and then we had a Dazzle Juggernaut off lane, which I spent a lot of time with ganking. And then we had a Pudge mid, as we spoke about earlier, our Pudge that had not played Dota in like a year and change. And the enemy team, oh my god, now I know why they lost. They had a jungler, of course. They had a jungle Wraith King. Then their safe lane was Ancient Apparition Ricky, and their mid lane was a Tinker. And then their offlane was a Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin, of course, being one of the primary counters to OD, although not a counter in lane, as we found in this game, because you got a lot of farm, and he did not nearly shut you down. But yeah, so basically what happened was the four of us, me being Spearbreaker, Dazzle, Pudge, and Juggernaut, we ran around the map and killed a bunch of people. And I ganked mid like 3 times in the first 3 minutes. I had a killing spree before like minute 3. It was crazy. We got like 3 kills at top rune alone. And we just made a lot of space for you. You just did your little one-on-one thing with Nyx. You free farmed. We both went Midas, and
he almost got a last hit once, but then I imprisoned him and denied it.
Nice in true fashion.
He was very well skilled.
Yes. Yeah, I remember you shouting, "S hero is what is it? I'm very skilled," or something to that effect. When you just ulted and killed.
Yeah, ulted. I just like pointed into a team fight, just like dropped the fucking hammer, AC style. And then fucking like 3 kills. Like, I'm very powerful. Thank you.
Yes.
Commend, please. Pressed R.
Yeah, so basically it was like a classic thing where OD is a strong enough carry in that like you can leave him alone in lane. And really you want to do that. That's why he's so prevalent in the mid lane, is because he needs so many levels. And that's also why people oftentimes go Midas if they can get away with it. And so we just left you alone. The 4 of us just powered down things. We shut down the Tinker in the early game. Then we just killed AA over and over again. I got a really lucky kill where Wraith King walked into ward vision with like 10 health. And I killed him, punched him to death. And then Ricky was annoying, but we killed him. And
that's kind of the hero, isn't it? Like, Ricky was annoying, and then he died.
That's, yes. I would 100% agree with that sentiment. That really is what it seemed like. Was like Ricky, he tried to do things, he ulted, he did damage. Our Pudge didn't know that Ricky was changed, so I had to explain that on the fly. That was interesting. Everybody stood in the Ricky ult for some reason. I don't know why. I told them that, like, hey, just walk out of it and it won't do damage. So, I mean, maybe once or twice did that. But yeah, so Ricky really was not the powerhouse. Their Ricky guy, oh my god. So if you watch the VOD, you'll see this, but their Ricky guy at the start of the game was 4,995 MMR. And at that point, I was like, we need to win this game.
Yeah, we can't let this guy get 5k.
Exactly.
Not on our watch.
I want that guy to be as sad as humanly possible.
No one gets to 5k before I do.
Exactly. And so we definitely stopped him from getting to 5k. But also, I mean, he was probably partied, so it's 5k party, you know. But yeah, so that was the early game. It was basically like 4-man shut people down, and then you came online. Maybe you should talk a little bit about that and your item build and how you came online.
So I was in my lane doing my thing. I realized that Nyx couldn't do shit to me. Every time he'd go for last hit, I'd imprison him. He would like try to fucking carapace out of imprisonment, but he would always just take damage and then have the carapace go up, and I just kind of wave at him. So the lane went well. I had like 70 CS at 10 minutes and shit, even though I was like CSing very poorly because I'm fucking not good at this hero because I played it once. And so I just went like power treads, wand, starting items. Actually, it's pretty cool to start wand if you're safe lane. You just went like Tango Salve Mango, and then you can get the 2 branches in the circlet, and then just like buy the stick and lane, and then you got a full fucking wand with your starting gold, and still have two regen items in the mango. It's good shit. Yeah, so I just went that. Power Treads was like, yeah, I can get a Midas too, so I got like 9 minutes Treads Wand Midas. Then after that, I just went I went Atos because that's a good item. It's way better if you use it.
Yeah, it turns out.
I didn't do it all the first game I played him because I just am not used to having that item to use. But then it only took me like 2 team fights to use it in that game. Yeah. And after that, I got Blink, and that's the real shit. If you don't go Blink on this hero, you don't know what you're doing. It's the best. You can just like blink on someone, Atos them, right click them twice, ult if you need to, but they're probably gonna die in 2 right clicks because you're fucking OD. He's obscenely dumb. So yeah, Blink. You can like astral like there are times in that game where like I got AA Ice Blast and only like, oh man, that's it, you're done. They're gonna catch you. But no, you imprison yourself and you just don't take damage. Like you just don't take damage from the dot. So you imprison yourself for 4 seconds and then you just like blink out of it immediately. It doesn't fucking matter. Like you have a dot on you, but it doesn't matter. You still blink whenever the fuck you want to. It's good, man. Go blink on that hero. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was wild. Like you were just hopping around and just like wherever you hopped, people died. I say hopping because he seems like a hopping kind of thing.
Yeah, he kind of like he's perpetually in a prance kind of because he's like in the air with his little stubby legs. Like the legs are just stubby and shit, but he could kind of be like a deer who has its legs all like poised up and shit. He's a like perpetual prance destroyer.
Perpetual prance devourer. But yeah, I'm always fascinated by all the new names. Like obscenely dumb is a new good one. I like that. And you said one earlier that I had never heard before, but was good.
Oh fuck, Obtuse Donkey.
Yeah, that one, Obtuse Donkey. And then there's Outhouse Destroyer. In Dota 1, he was the Obsidian Destroyer because they like...
Outhouse Demolisher.
Yeah.
I think is that one.
Oh, okay. Well, same difference. Outhouse something.
Defecator. There's a lot of options with this guy.
Defecator. That's a good one. But yeah, so... Yeah, because in Dota 1 he had a model that was just like an obsidian statue, and they just like made it float like 50 units off the ground. They're like, all right, model done. Yeah, some of the models were sketchy. PL was like the only really fancy model.
AA later on got his own custom model too.
Yeah, well, it was weird because in Dota 1 a lot of them had custom models before Dota All Stars, and when Dota All Stars came out, which was the one that Ice Frog, that was when Ice Frog started working on Dota. They like took out all the special models and just used the like base models, except for PL, who is Kimari from Final Fantasy X. I think that's the guy's name in Final Fantasy X.
Probably.
I think so. But yeah, so I mean that's fun. That's like when Ricky used to just be a ninja. Like they just took a ninja model from some other game. They're like, all right, cool. That's when he had Death Ward too, but that's a whole other reminiscent conversation. But yeah, so I mean that's. Basically, the way the game went was I demolished the beginning, you demolished the middle, and then there really was no end because the game was only like 39 minutes, 40 minutes, give or take. So yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Just fucking right-click to Wraith King 4 times, he'd lose all his int, and he would die and not be able to res. It was a good time.
Yeah, boy, Wraith King is like the worst hero against so many different carries nowadays, like OD, AM, PL... Probably other heroes.
Yeah, I just don't pick Wraith King unless you're gonna like 4th or 5th pick him anymore. I don't think there's so many things in the meta that just shit on him. Like if they pick Invoker, like what do you do?
You cry.
I guess I'll get EMP'd. Guess that's my life now.
Yeah, he's in an unfortunate state of like, I want him to be viable because I think he's interesting as a support, and even as a core, he's like I think any core or any carry that's not commonly picked is interesting. Except like Chaos Knight, because that here's. I like Wraith King though. I hope he's good.
I think he's good. It's just as a 4th or 5th pick, you know.
I still think I read, I unfortunately read Reddit, and one of the proposed changes to Wraith King that would make him more viable as a support would be being able to trigger your ult. So like, also as a carry. Thinking about that, like before your mana is fully drained, you could just trigger your ult and die, and like it'd be like a bloodstone suicide basically. But the idea was like, as a support, you could blink in, stun someone, ult, and then just slow that entire area for like whatever it is, like 4 seconds, and then come back up and stun another person. I just thought it was an interesting change that If it happened, it happened. But they ran a jungle Wraith King in my games recently. It has basically been every game is ruined by either, or all my losses recently have been ruined by either a jungler on my team, usually on Legion Commander, which you can read about on the Defense Patient's website. There's an article up. I forget the author, but he's a very talented person, possibly man or woman. And there's, what is it? L is for jungle. I know Roland was talking about it on the Monday show, but anyway, they talk about Legion Commander. Junglers ruining Dota, but Wraith King, he tried Iron Talon. He saw the Iron Talon in the shop. He was like, "Yo, I can do this. I can jungle." And then we killed him. And then eventually he got items anyway, somehow. I think he killed me I think he got my streak. I was like 7-0 at one point. I think he got my streak. And that's how he got his blink. And it was a whole thing. I don't know. That's the gist of it. Like,
yeah, game was good. We ran at them. We killed them. OD is absurd. As soon as I came into any team fight, I at least got a triple kill. I would just there was one fight where I think everyone died, and everyone was like, haha, OD's coming to clean it up, and then I killed everyone, and that was great. So that's the hero from my perspective. You build Atos, you build Blink, you blink on them, and then they die. Make sure you right click them. That's really the main thing about OD is you right click them with your orb on. You get 3 points in your E, and then get 3 points in your fucking Q, and then finish maxing your E, then your Q, and get 1 point in W. Just because imprisoning yourself is good if you're about to die. I did that a couple times. It's good. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So get that, and then kill everyone.
Yeah, I mean everybody knows Spirit Breaker. I mean OD is more interesting. Just because he's been reworked and now he's I would say he's almost not almost a completely different hero, but he's very different than he used to be, both in itemization and in role, and in the fact that now he gets picked a lot, whereas before it was oh god, who picks OD?
He's so viable late game too. It's so real, and really though, just building attack speed over int on him, I think is really strong.
Definitely, and you still when they BKB, you still steal int off them.
Do you?
I believe so, or no, because it's not actually going.
Pretty
off.
Sure. Yeah. No.
Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, man. If you did,
that'd be interesting. But anyway, I mean, I think I can remember if you compared it in this cast or in the Lost podcast, but it's a lot like Slark in that he benefits from long engagements.
Yeah. So saying for long engagements, OD, specifically when they bought back into a fight.
Yes.
So every auto attack I throw is 5 int, and every time I steal 5 int from someone, if they're alive, my ult is going to do 100 more damage. And if they're not the person that I stole the int from, my ult's going to do 50 more damage. So I have pretty good attack speed. I didn't even build attack speed that game, and I have pretty good attack speed. And I'm having maybe 60 int after killing a few people, and then someone buys back into the game, and I just drop my ult and I one shot 2 people who just spent their buyback, and okay, that was the dieback for nothing. It's insane. Yeah, if a fight goes long as OD, you are in fucking good business.
Yeah, and so something that we didn't think about, as many people don't think about Rod of Atos. By many people, I mean probably 90% of the Dota population doesn't buy the item, much less even thinks about the item. But in this game, we didn't think about it in the game, but we were talking about it after. It was really good because the buff to Atos last patch in 6.86 was now it gives plus accuracy, which is weird mathematically. I
don't even really understand what it does still, but I know it makes you hit more. I'm just not sure how much more.
Well, it's plus 40 accuracy, I believe, on Atos.
So does that mean, if someone has 40% dodge, do I hit them 100% of the time, or is it just 40% less misses?
Yes, it's 40% less misses. So it calculates separately.
So if they have 50% dodge chance, and I have that, I'll hit them 20% more?
Okay, that's one way to think of it. Yeah, that's how I understand it.
So 40% of my misses or whatever will be, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. Somebody explained it to me. It's one of those things where somebody explained it to me and it made perfect sense, and I was like, "Right, that's how it works."
As long as if it's multiplicative or additive, that's all I need to know. If it's not additive, that's good enough for me.
It's not. Let's
just reveal how.
I know how it works.
It's weird. I hate the site. I've never bought it before. It's dumb.
I just know the way I think of it is like, don't think of it as like a counter to evasion, because
Yeah,
it's not like if they have 40% evasion and you have 40% plus accuracy, that does not mean that you're going to hit everything on them. So it's not like a pseudo counter to
yeah,
like evasion. It's just like a nice little thing against pures with evasion.
yeah.
So it's good against like Ricky when Ricky would cloud, or Wraith King who had a radiance. It was really convenient for that. I mean, Rod of Aethos is not necessarily an item you buy to counter evasion, but it is a nice item to have against people with evasion. That's how I
It's
think of it,
it's
basically.
it's definitely convenient.
Yeah, and I mean you can like uh not spam it, but like it has like a
Yeah, 12-second cooldown.
33% uptime.
Yeah, 12-second cooldown, 4-second duration. So yeah, like 1/3 uptime.
It's quite good. But yeah, I love Aethos. I've been a believer in Aethos for a long time, and it's just like so much value, right? It's 3,100 gold. You get 30 intelligence and 350 health, and that's not even counting the active, which the active is crazy good, and it has like the active is like 1,000 range or something. The active you can use from like
Yeah,
so
1,200. It's
far away.
basically a screen away.
Yeah. So it's a really good
Okay,
item.
so
People should buy
so
it.
accuracy just means, so 40% accuracy means that 40% of the time one of your hits will basically have a proc that says it can't miss. So it just means like more or less 40% of your misses won't miss when you average it out like that.
Okay. So yeah. So I mean that's how a lot of things work. Like not MKB. That's the worst example. But like Basher or Maelstrom, when those hits are calculated, those hits have 100%. Like they have True Strike basically. If you're, which is like it's kind of like a weird way to work around evasion, is if you have a bunch of items with actives, namely Basher and Maelstrom, a hit that is going to bash is just it has 100% hit chance. It does not calculate is it going to hit and then calculate is it going to bash. It calculates is this going to be a bash, and then it just like does the bash. Um, so that's why like it's kind of like a pseudo. It's like a workaround basically. Two heroes with evasion is like just build a basher. Um, and so that's how I think of it with Atos. Basically, is like now it's basically like a 40% chance to like proc to definitely hit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, my Spearbreaker build was less interesting than the OD build. I did a pretty standard thing. Excuse me, dying. I had a really
Oh
good early
God,
game.
I'll call Grouty.
Yeah. Well, he's dead, so rest in
That's
peace.
right.
Um,
Did we go over that you kill people?
I believe that was in this recording. I hope
Okay.
so. If not,
Yeah.
we're just gonna put that out there. It's gonna
All
just gonna
right.
float in the ether.
Sure.
You can call Skrunk, maybe. But yeah. Anyway, so I went Midas because I was having a really good early game, and I was pretty confident. So
Yeah,
I
you got your Midas before I did even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a field day. I had some mana problems, which
Yeah.
I went
You
mango.
didn't have treads or wand like I did, but
Well, also you
still got
said
that
like, "Hey,
Midas.
buy a clarity," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna buy a fairy fire." And then
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and fairy fire is legit, but I just
Fairy
ended up
Fire is
keeping.
awesome.
Um, I probably could have gone fairy fire clarity instead of the tangos because I thought actually that probably would have been really bad. Anyway, that's beside the point. So what I did was I went brown boots, wand, Midas, urn, BKB, and then I was building a solar lotus orb. Lotus orb. I can always confuse
You
the
got
name.
treads though, right?
Oh yeah, I got treads.
Good.
I didn't get treads before Midas. I went brown boots, Midas, treads.
Right. Like any
Um,
responsible adult.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like it was one of those things where like I had it on quick buy, so I was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna do this. Otherwise, I'm gonna save it for the 1550 and buy the Midas. But yeah, so I mean, Spearbreaker item builds are not exactly revolutionary, right? They're pretty tried and
Yeah.
true.
He's pretty figured out. You
The
go the Proud Special, the Urn of Shadows.
Yes, proud, of course, the inventor of the Urn build on Spearbreaker. Our team
Yeah,
flamed me.
man, you missed so many great jokes.
I know.
But basically, the point is, I invented Urn of Shadows. So
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
thank me if you ever go Urn of Shadows and Spirit Breaker. That was me. I started that.
yeah. There's like now we're gonna develop like an ethos around the lost jokes, and I like some of them. I remember. I'm like, if I try to make this joke again, it's not gonna work because it's not gonna be natural. So people are missing out on so much. Anyway,
Artificial jokes.
yes, I'm sure there's gonna
Fucking
artificial.
pumped with MSG.
Yeah, MSG is where it's at. All right. Anyway,
It's the best shit.
um, yes. Now I'm on like a
Urn of
weird science
Shadows.
tangent of MSG.
Yep.
But yes,
No,
Urn of Shadows is a
MSG
good
is
item.
good. It's not bad, by the way. Anyway, good.
I have a confession to make. You've already heard it, so I'm not confessing to you. But I used to not buy Urn of Shadows ever. It was like my least bought item by like a huge margin. Like probably like not that long ago. I like only recently been turned to the light side and been buying Urn.
Earns
But
dope.
I used to just never buy the item, not necessarily because I thought it was bad. It just like was never on my radar. I was always building something else. And now I've like realized like, hey, Urn's awesome. But because of that, I'm still like, I either use my Urn too much and I never have any charges left, or I use it too little and I like in this game, I ended up sitting around with like 6 charges, 8 charges, even though I was using them semi regularly. Like I gotta be more up on that. So that takes some practice. But and then I was probably the only interesting item. I was building Lotus Orb because they had a lot of single target things and potentially more single target things because of Tinker, but that we didn't let Tinker get online enough to deflect like a Scythe or an E-Blade. But so Lotus Orb was my plan because you were really our tank at that point, and you weren't building not tank, but like you were doing everything.
I was the anchor.
Yeah, the anchor, perfect. And so I was like, oh, I'll just Lotus Orb you, and like worst case scenario, they do things to themselves. In best case scenario,
that's best case scenario.
No. Best case scenario is they do nothing to you. Because
Okay.
because I mean, if like Wraith King stuns
I prefer a Tinker. No, I don't.
Yeah,
you get stunned. It reflects.
No, it reflects, but you still get stunned. Like
What?
it doesn't reflect; it recasts. So basically, the way Lotus Orb works
Is this a fact?
Yes, it's a fact. All right, so if
Oh my
Tinker,
God. Well, you fucking like hook each other and shit, or swap each other.
Exactly, it recasts.
Yeah,
So like,
recasts. Okay.
If Tinker scythes you, you both get scythed. Basically, it's like a mirror. I think of it that way.
Okay.
So
not exactly. It's like a mirror, but you're standing in front of the mirror.
I don't know how mirrors work. I'm like a 15th century pilgrim.
Insert Jaden Smith comment here.
Anyway, mirrors are complicated. So yeah, I mean that was my idea though. Was I would Lotus Orb you, and then what would happen was you like worst case scenario you get sheeped or Wraith King stunned or whatever, but then they also get stunned and that's fine. But ideally they see, hey, he's Lotus Orb, let's not do anything to him until that fades, and then you have like 5 seconds or whatever of freedom to like be throwing orbs and doing stuff. So that was my plan. Execution wise, it didn't happen because I didn't finish the Lotus Orb because the game ended. But theoretically, it was gonna be.
Yeah, my bad. Killed everyone.
That's one of those games where we just kind of ran at each other for a really long time, each team, and we fed a bunch, and they fed a lot more. And then eventually we were just like, hey, let's 5-man down, and so we literally just like grouped as 5 and ended the game in like 3 minutes.
The difference was when we charged at them, I was in an astral imprisonment, so I didn't die to the fucking Red Rover pile.
That is true. What is a Red Rover pile? What?
Is it that game Red Rover where like
yes,
just like runs at all the kids' arms and then they all break each other's arms and everyone dies?
Yes.
And they all get in a pile. I don't think the pile part actually happens, but it sounded better that way.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have a childhood. That game.
Yeah, I mean, I never.
I just know kids run at each other.
Yeah, I mean that sounds optimal.
Because it's a child's game, I just assume there's violence involved at some point. So piling sounds like a thing that happens. Anyway,
pile, sure.
Anyway, boy, that was a tangent. But yeah, so I mean, our game went well.
What a hero!
Yeah.
Yeah, I went. Blink, treads, the Midas, the rod. It's great. I got an Octarine core, the O core as we call it, aka the item that Pudge didn't know existed, so he thought I had no items.
Yeah. That did happen.
That was funny. He was like,
Pudge didn't know what Aetherland
no items. I'm like, bitch, I got 700 GPM. Fuck off.
Yeah, Pudge went phase pipe, and I was like, dude, the advice you should buy an Aetherland. He was like, what is that? I was like, yo, it's really good. Just buy it, and it'll make it look so farther.
Yeah, so Octarine's good. Your orb deals damage based on your total mana pool, so like the additional mana you get from the Soul Booster and Octarine core still increases your damage. It's not like a hero like Silencer where like only the Mystic Staff is relevant. So that was cool. And the hero like Odie had like none of his items give him any HP regen at all. Really, like you don't go mech on this hero anymore. Force Staff I don't think is nearly as good as Blink because you can blink out of imprisonment. And I don't think you go Blink Force Staff on this hero. So yeah, getting Octarine is suboptimal. I think if our Dazzle and Jug played with me, I wouldn't have had to get it, and I could have just gone like attack speed and sheepstick and shit. Mm-hmm. But if you're playing like a pub and you don't have someone to heal you up reliably, getting the Octarine core is like I actually like that a lot.
Yeah. Also, you get lifesteal from the orbs, which is nice.
Yeah, and you lifesteal for it's like 25% of it, right? And your orbs are hitting for like fucking 300 pure damage. So that's I mean that's some solid fucking life gain.
Yeah, and they only do more as the fight progresses.
So, yeah, and your ult will like full heal you every time.
Yeah,
it's just absurd damage.
Yeah,
good hero, good item.
Definitely good hero. The hero. I mean, we've been seeing a ton of him in Star Ladder and other things, and I imagine until he gets nerfed, we'll be seeing a lot of him. So that's the gist of it. You can of course watch the VOD of our game over at .ptv1. It'll be up there. It's in my perspective, the Spirit Breaker. But yeah, so that's that. And then we can get to the rest of our plugs. Of course, you can reach us on Twitter if you want to tell us how you love Enchantress or something, and we just flamed Enchantress. We may have done that on a different recording. I don't know. They're merging together.
I think so. I don't like Enchantress. She's rude, and I play Lone Druid and I land against her. My bear tries to click her, and then nothing happens, and I hate it. Anyway, go on with the plugs.
Yep, Enchantress sucks. Anyway, continuing. Yeah, if we've disparaged some hero that you love, tell us. We probably won't stop hating on that hero, but I appreciate knowing that people actually play Enchantress or whatever ungodly hero you choose to play. If you're a Pudge picker too, if you want to say, hey, Pudge is fun and I like him, that's cool. I'll wish you good luck in middle school or whatever. You can reach me on Twitter, of course, at Ursinity and proud@ProudDota. And
That's .p, correct.
And at .p_show is where you can direct all of your hopefully well-wished, possibly hateful comments to the .p. All of us.
Yeah, I heard they lost a recording.
I heard that did happen. You can flame them for that. But that's okay. And if you thought this episode was kind of mediocre, then just think about how good the other one might have been. Or
yeah, that's really the takeaway.
If you thought this one was really good, then be thankful. Be like, hey, they didn't actually lose the recording. They were like, hey, Proud or Ursinity, you guys kind of sucked a little. We may have messed it up.
We don't want to hear about the 5th game Sam lost this week.
Yeah, I did get off on a tangent. I did lose a lot of games. If you follow my Twitter, it's mostly just K-pop and then me yelling about games I lost. Like my Zeus that maxes Arc Lightning and doesn't put any points in Lightning Bolt at 4,400 MMR. God.
If my favorite Zeus player is listening, please don't max E on Zeus.
Yeah. Anyway, you can find all our stuff, including the article I mentioned about junglers and various other exciting things, including our Amazon banner, which you should use to support us when you're buying all your textbooks for the upcoming semester. That is defenseofthepatients.com, not surprisingly. Our subreddit, of course, is also r/defenseofthepatients. And that's the gist of it. You can join our private chat channel. We also have a public one, but we're trying to switch people over to the private one because that one we can actually monitor because we don't want spammers and whatnot. You can friend me and then just message me and say, hey, I want to be in the private chat channel, and I will invite you. All of the other .p hosts, as well as Fafnir, and I think that's it, have permission to invite people. So send any of us a thing, and all they have to do is /private chat invite and then your name. You can also find us, I don't know, I think I said everywhere you can find us.
Yeah, that's everything.
I'm sure you can find us other places, but I don't think we want to be found on any of those.
Club with a bottle full of bub.
Yep. Okay. Well, boy, that's I don't even want to end on that. I feel like
some 2002 throwbacks.
Yeah, that's Gosh. All right. This is
so that Urn of Shadows. I used to really like that on like every strength hero when I was bad because it gives like mana regen and health regen, and like Dragon Knight, Chaos Knight, all those heroes. When you don't know what you're doing too much, it's nice to have an Urn of Shadows.
I'm glad you brought it back with that exciting story. So we didn't have to end on a bottle full of bub. That said, thanks for listening. Of course, I've been Ursinity, and this has been Proud. I am back, thankfully, and hopefully next week we will enjoy it and have yet another bottle full of bub. Thanks for listening. This is that's going to be the title of the episode. Dude.
Oh my god, no. My god.
Ursinity and Proud have a bottle of bub.
Stop.
All right, we're done.
No.
Okay, this has been our theory, and if you lose, it's your fault. All right, good night.